Götterstolverigkeit niet. Don't worry, I know that's not English. That's Alsatian. It's a local dialect. And my grandmother told me this once during a walk in the mountains. I almost fell over, and she said, Götterstolverigkeit niet, which basically means, who knows how to stumble doesn't fall. And that's the title I choose. But let's get into it, because today I'm doing something I never thought I would. When I was contacted to share my experience, I said yes straight away. Then I saw it was in English, and I told myself that's okay, I can do it. And then I read the topic, and I didn't really know what it meant. I mean, connecting the dots. Okay, which dots? At first, it made me think about a game I used to play when I was a child. There was a sheet of paper with dots on it, and it was all about connecting them in the right order to create an image. At first, all you had was a big mess, and the further you went, the more you began to see something appearing. Sometimes it was really hard because there were lots of dots, and sometimes it was so easy you could see the image before you even started. Maybe life works the same way. Maybe connecting the dots means making sense of our own lives. Steve Jobs said, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. What he meant is that we often cannot immediately understand why certain things happen. But over time, we realize it made perfect sense. And that's exactly what happened to me. Throughout my journey, every challenge led me to a new step. Every dot I crossed led me to a place I never imagined. Today, I want to share how every single dot in my life, whether it was a success, a failure, or a challenge, ended up connecting and transforming me. So my story started when I was just 7 years old. My parents, like many, encouraged me to try different sports, but it's swimming that I stuck with. And by the age of 12, I was already national junior champion, and I was a part of the national junior team. I was already practicing 6 hours a day with an average of 80 kilometers a week, but I didn't mind because my efforts were paying off. I made steady progress for a very long time. There was never any disappointment. I never doubted my abilities. I knew I would achieve my goals just because it had always been this way, a straight line. When I was 15, I became all category national champion. And at that moment, it was the most beautiful day of my life. All the pain from training and all my efforts made sense. My swimming ability and my academic level enabled me to gain admission to a Division I university in the United States. Everything was doing great in the best of all possible worlds. And I thought it would always be this way, an endless climb, a straight and unbroken line to success. But reality caught up with me, and I found that as I rose through the ranks, the expectations also grew. People no longer saw me as a surprise talent, but I became someone they expected to win. For the first time, I wasn't swimming for myself, but I was swimming because I was afraid of losing. That fear crept in and it changed everything. My mind had always been calm and focused, and it became clouded with doubts. I couldn't understand why my body, which had always followed my mind, was suddenly not working anymore. I was training like mad, but it was just like something was broken. And then I hit a wall, and I experienced burnout at just 16 years old. But this dot taught me one of the most important lessons of my life. Success isn't just about physical ability. The mind also plays a crucial role. Sometimes when the mind falters, it doesn't matter how strong the body is. It really made me understand the importance of mental health and the need for balance. Then there was COVID. And for the first time, I couldn't swim. At first, I felt lost. But soon I realized that it was the first time in years that I could just breathe. There was no pressure, no competition, just life. And it was at that moment that I really started to heal mentally and physically. As my ambition was always to go to the United States, I decided not to give up on swimming. However, my departure had been postponed due to COVID, and I chose to move to Nice to swim while waiting. And then I discovered EDHEC, and I found everything I was looking for in my studies, the best of all possible academic training, and the possibility to continue being a high-level athlete. And I realized that life doesn't always give you what you want. Sometimes it gives you what you need. And that's what connecting the dots is about. Sometimes we cannot understand why certain things happen in the moment, but later we realize it made perfect sense. By 2022, I felt like I had come full circle, and I decided to stop swimming. I just wasn't enjoying it anymore. But I wasn't ready to give up on competition, though. And I found fin swimming. In my first year, I was already national champion, and I qualified myself for the European Pool Championships and for the World Open Water Championships. This journey was full of ups and downs. At the European Championships, I didn't perform as expected. I was sick, and my results were a bit disappointing. But that taught me another key lesson. Failures are part of the journey. We just shouldn't let them define us. I failed. Everyone has the right to fail. That doesn't mean our life is a failure. It's a step. That's what a failure is. Just a dot in the picture of our lives. And that's what it should remain. This moment of defeat taught me to adjust my mindset, to accept setbacks, and to keep moving forward. Then it was time to prepare for the World Championships. And what a preparation. It wasn't ideal. My coach was on vacation, and my boyfriend kind of became my coach. And I would swim in public swimming slot whenever I could. Then there was a series of unfortunate events. Just 1 week before the competition, I slipped on the stairs at home. I went down a whole floor, and I ended up with a huge bruise on the bottom. And just the day before the race, I was going down the bleachers, and I twisted my ankle. I heard a loud crack, and I was totally freaking out. I thought, great, I'm about to compete at the World Championships with a bruised bottom and a sprained ankle. But the next day, I raced, and despite everything, I became world champion. And and thank you. I realized that sometimes even everything seems to go wrong. We just have to push forward. We cannot control everything, but we can control how we respond. This victory really opened my eyes on the power of resilience and determination. A year later, I was again preparing for another World Championships, and I was looking for a place where I could swim. So I went to ask the Nice Rowing Club if there would be a possibility for me to use their private beach as a part of my preparation. And the president said no. So my parents brought me the full license, which meant I could use the private beach, but I could also row. Why not? That really was the beginning of something unexpected, because rowing was never something I really considered. But the first time I went, I remember it was with my brother, and I was immediately spotted by the coaches. They told me I should try on an indoor rowing machine. No sooner said than done. I was in the gym on the rowing machine, and my brother challenged me to do a 500 meters race. But the coach came in and said, no, real rowers usually do 2 kilometers, not 500 meters. Okay. So without even thinking, I jumped on the machine, I did a 2-minute warm-up, and I set off for my first 2 kilometers. When the coach came back, he looked at my time, he took a picture of it, and he said, "We've got a lot to work with." And at that moment, I didn't really understand what he meant, but it turned out that with that time, I would have been runner-up at the French Championships. And a few months later, I became world champion in indoor rowing. Thank you again. So I couldn't have predicted it, but this thought led me to a new passion. Indoor rowing became my third competitive sport. And once again, I was crowned national champion and then world champion. I understood that all those years of swimming had taught me some skills that I could apply to any field, such as resilience, determination, and so on. And if I hadn't burnout, I wouldn't have found balance. If COVID didn't stop me, I wouldn't have discovered EDHEC. If I didn't left swimming, I wouldn't have become world champion twice. Looking back, I see how every single dot connects. Every success, every failure, every time I stumbled, each of these moments led me to where I am today. Each of them taught me something valuable, and they all came together, sometimes in unexpected ways. Life doesn't always go as planned, and we cannot control everything, but we can control how we respond. So don't be afraid to stumble. Life is a matter of luck and choices. We are on a knife edge. The important thing is not to fall. And as my grandmother would say, "Agioter stolverik et niet." Who knows how to stumble doesn't fall. You'll be surprised at what you can achieve. Every failure is just a step towards something bigger. Every challenge is just a dot waiting to connect. Looking back, you'll see how everything fits together in ways you never imagined. So embrace the uncertainty, the detours, and the failures. They are not obstacles, they are opportunities, and who knows where they'll lead. Thank you.